Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your first weekly general tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality, the first one of 2021. I'm so sorry that it's taken me so long to get back to these. It's just been a crazy time. Thank you so much to all of you that pledged as part of my Kickstarter. Your readings are all slowly but surely on their way to you as we speak. So with that said, if you haven't ever seen one of these with me before, the way that it works is I will pull 3 cards, one destiny, one direction, and one insight. This is going to give us all an overarching sort of energy for the week ahead. So it's going to kind of give us a bit of an understanding of how the general trends, themes, and energies might come across. And there's always a weekly message. So the way that the message works is before I start the reading, I will sit with my intuition and I will ask my, the universe to give me whatever the message is for the week. And the message this week, what I actually saw was somebody being crowned. But the message that came through with that was a crown is bestowed, it is not taken. This is not something that you can grab. It's not something that you can... it's not something that you can forcibly take, right? And the way that I understand this, or the way that I intuit it, it's actually talking about all of us, right? All of us have some form of personal sovereignty, and the way that you come into your personal crown, it has to be bestowed by the highest, right? And so basically what that means is much like a halo. You will you'll go through a certain process. So where are you in your own journey, and how close do you think you are to that moment of ascension where you can have the universe bestow your personal crown to you? This is a week for you to really look at how far you are along on your personal journey. And I think on the wider world stage as well, there is obviously there's the whole debacle going on at the moment, but I do feel like there's going to be a handing over of the reins of some sort. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, for our key, or our direction card, should I say, I'm already in weekly sign mode. So for our direction card this week, we have the Chariot card, right? So what is the Chariot? The Chariot's a very fast card, and while it is about victory and success and all of those amazing things, it does tend to bring a very fast energy. So I will say this, for all of us, this week could be a bit of a bumpy ride. It is going to require us to hang on to our, hang on to your britches, as they used to say. The other thing with the Chariot card as well, remember, this is the energy of movement, but it's also the energy of victory and success. But it goes beyond that. This is about utilizing your personal will. And one of the things that I love about this card, especially in the Rider-Waite deck, is when you look at the Chariot, there's actually no reins on it. And what that suggests to me is it's about using your innate will, your sheer force of willpower to get through or over or even towards what it is that you're trying to bring into your life. So as an overarching energy for the Destiny card, this is basically saying your success is at hand. How are you going to utilize your own energies to get there? And more importantly, how are you marshalling your inner resources? So for our direction card, and the direction card kind of gives this context, it's going to help us flesh it out a bit. If your destiny card was where you were heading, the direction card would be how you get there. All right, and for that we have the Page of Wands, right? So through your creativity is really the best way for you to move forward this week. So this is a week for you to jot ideas down. This is a week for you to write how you feel. This would be a fantastic week to do some form of journaling. I will say this as well, there looks to be a lot of mixed messages this week. So on the wider world stage, this would be a time where you probably want to take everything that you hear and read with a pinch of salt. And the reason I say that is because we're going to be getting something this week that appears to be like absolute fact and is moving ahead like this, and then before you know it, boom, something else is going to come in, it's going to shock and it's going to change. So this week I advise you to take everything that you hear, read, or see on the news, on the media, etc., with literally a pinch of salt. Now, coming back to that personal level, through your creativity, through writing, through your speaking, through the way that you interact interact with people and the world, but ultimately through the way that you use your creativity this week. Now, one of the things that I will say to you, because it's coupled with the Chariot card, and this suggests to me as well that there's going to be a lot of information this week. It's not just going to be a lot of sort of bouncing back and forth and sort of, I don't want to say misinformation, because it doesn't really, I mean, I don't want to say that, because that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm trying to say is something's going to be pushed forward this week, but it will be too soon. It's too quick. And when that happens, we're going to see some sort of like, okay, no, we need to correct this, or we need to recalibrate it in some way. So like I said, whatever messages you see and, you know, get on the you know, in general this week, take them with a pinch of salt. Emotions are going to be very high this week. I have to say, the Chariot card is a very spirited card. It's going to be a very big week for competitive energy as well. So if you see that out in the world, if you feel it like in your personal social circle, even within your family, etc., in your friendship circle, my advice to you would be this week, when other people put them on stage and do the whole put themselves on stage and do the whole posturing thing, stand back, think about what you say before you say it, and think about whether you're getting on the stage. Like, you know, sometimes, don't get me wrong, share, speak, connect, interact. It's always a good thing, right? Share your creativity. But when somebody gets on that sort of you know, well, yes, and I'm doing this, and don't step into the competition. You don't need to, right? A crown is bestowed, it's not taken, right? Remember where you are in your journey. That's what's going to be important to you this week. So for our insight card, this is kind of like what's coming in, what's going on behind the scenes, what we may not be aware of, but need to be. And this week we get the Ace of Pentacles, right? So this is where all of this is heading. Pay attention to the ideas that you get this week, because they will probably be relevant for later on. And one message that has come up for a lot of the readings that I've done so far, whatever opportunities come up over the course of this week, in fact, for the whole rest of January, let me put it that way, whatever comes up this week, in fact, whatever comes up for the next part of January, right through to the end of it, if it's good now, it will still be good later on, right? And I do believe for a lot of us, what we can't do, accept, or move ahead with over the course of the rest of this month, we will get a chance to revisit at a later date. We will get a chance to redo or pick up again. Now, your Ace of Pentacles coupled with the Chariot card, for those of you that have had challenging financial situations, this looks like a really good energy for that. You may figure out a way out of that challenging situation this week. For those of you that are looking to build financially, again, you know, you could have an idea, right? It's like something comes from within that will push you towards what you want. So whatever your ideas are, whatever those things are that you kind of keep thinking, yeah, you know what, I'd like to try my hand at that, pay attention to it, because you're getting that message for a reason. Now, what might be going on behind the scenes, especially on a wider world stage, I've seen a lot of this as well, and I saw a lot of this in the year ahead readings. There are a lot of, you know, while obviously the world is in chaos, there are a lot of interesting financial movements taking place that are not necessarily going on behind the scenes. They're just not getting, you know, they're not widely sort of documented, let's say, because there's so much other stuff going on. But I would pay attention. I think you remember, for those of you that have been with me long enough, in before August last year in 2020, I said to everybody, watch the money, follow the money trail, because that's what you're going to see, kind of all of these fluctuations and these undulations. I will say this, it looks like this week somebody is going to be coming up, you know, financially. So you're going to see this in the, you know, on the media. I know Elon Musk has just overtaken Jeff Bezos as like the most wealthy person in the world. It will be something along those lines, but it's not going to be about those people. It will be about somebody else. I will say this, whoever the underdog is, watch out for that person, because they'll be coming up trumps, you know, more so, not, you know, figure of speech. before anybody has a heart attack. And then remember, your pages are very similar to aces. They're new energies or fresh energies that come in. The difference being the aces are the beginnings and the pages are they're messages about what's coming through with that. So I do feel like this week as well, we may very well on the wider stage, we may very well see a push or a drive even further with the whole crypto thing. And I think this week we are going to see some sort of, now I'm not a financial advisor, I can't give you that kind of advice, and I advise you to do all of your own homework on that kind of stuff. But what I can say to you is I feel like this week we are going to see a big spike. If you're into that kind of thing, just obviously keep an eye on it. And like I said, follow the money trail, because you're going to see something happening on that wider world stage this week. With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. It's good to be back with these weekly generals. I love them. Please continue to post in the comments. I love it when you guys do. So many people have posted links to articles and they're like, Raf, you said this was going to happen, and boom, here it is. I love having those validations from you guys. One, because it really is a sense of community and interaction, and two, because it shows me that I'm on the right path. All right, with that said, take care, have an amazing week, and I'll see you soon.